Yes! Hey everyone, and welcome back to another brand new episode of The Completionist. Kingdom Hearts is a very special series to many gamers all across the world. It's been a long time since Kingdom Hearts 1 has come, and Kingdom Hearts 2, and now 1.5 and 2.5, and all the fun games in between, and hopefully we're this much closer to Kingdom Hearts 3. But on the show, I've only done 1 and 2, so I said, you know what? Thanks to our fan Andarina, who gave us every single game out there, let's take a look at the very beginning with Birth by Sleep.
The world awaits in bated breath as yet another year goes by with no true sequel to Kingdom Hearts 2 being released. In recent years, we've got Kingdom Hearts 1.5 for the PS3, 2.5 for the PS3, and now sometime this year we've been promised Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue and a rumored 2.9 for the PlayStation 4, all before the release of Kingdom Hearts 3. Finally. And while there is a lot of Kingdom Hearts games, and I mean there's a lot of them, by the time Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, you'll have the ability to play almost all of them in their shiniest HD forms. I have a fan that goes by the gamertag Andarina that sent me every single Kingdom Hearts game out there a few years ago, and when I told her it was time for me to complete another one, she immediately recommended Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep for the PSP. Mind you, the only Kingdom Hearts games I've completed up to this point are Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and I am aware that a lot has happened between 1 and 2, and between 2 and whenever 3 happens. So, here it is, folks. Let's start the journey of Birth by Sleep. To be clear, this is the PS3 version, which is technically Birth by Sleep Final Mix. It was a Japanese exclusive version of the PSP game. This includes extra bosses, which we will for sure get to. A Kingdom Hearts before the Heartless, before Sora, Riku, and Kairi, before Organization 13, and before all the extra storytelling that has undoubtedly confused so many of us. There is a lot that they just do not explain correctly. Come on! Now, you may not technically need to have played any other Kingdom Hearts games to understand this one, but I kind of encourage it as there's a lot of things referenced in Birth by Sleep that were set up in the other games. And I mean a lot. If you're a newbie to the franchise, I recommend checking out my other 2 videos on Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. That way, you'll have some inkling as to what's going on, and you won't be spoiled by what we're about to discuss. This concludes your official spoiler warning. At the conclusion of Kingdom Hearts 2, you're treated to a cutscene featuring 3 armored warriors fighting what looks like to be the most evil villains imaginable. For years, we did not have any idea as to what this imagery meant. From an outsider looking in, this cutscene paints the image that Sora gets killed, which I think initially was the idea behind it, but we'll find out more as we go along. Birth by Sleep takes place 9 years before the events of Kingdom Hearts, which means that Riku, Kairi, and Sora are literally like 4, maybe 5 years old. Similarly to Kingdom Hearts, we have 3 protagonists, Aqua, Terra, and Ventus. Unlike Kingdom Hearts 1, you actually play as all 3 characters as opposed to just one. Long ago, there was once an epic Keyblade war that was waged between light and darkness. The point of this war was not only for Kingdom Hearts, a place in which no one at this point actually has been to or inside of, but was actually for control of something called the Keyblade. Now I know this sounds confusing because literally in the Keyblade War, everyone has Keyblades. So what's the difference? Well, the X symbol according to the game is pronounced Kai or Key, so it's known as the Keyblade. So moving forward to avoid confusion, we'll be calling it the X-Blade.
X gon' give it to ya, he gon' give it to ya.
From within this great final battle of the Keyblade War, the X-Blade was shattered into 20 different pieces. 13 pieces of darkness, and 7 pieces of light. As you play more and more of the Kingdom Hearts games, you'll find out who and what that all means, but it's important to know that now because that's where our antagonist, Master Xehanort, shows up. Our story begins in the world known as the Land of Departure. Since the time of the Great Keyblade War, 2 masters were appointed, Master Xehanort and Master Ericus. While both were appointed as Keyblade Masters, Ericus was dubbed the one in charge of training the new recruits. both were given apprentices. Ericus was given a young man named Terra and a young woman named Aqua, while Xehanort trained a young boy named Ventus. Master Xehanort studies and learns all about Kingdom Hearts and the X-Blade, and how to harness it for his own aspirations. Xehanort needs a vessel in order to form the X-Blade, and he needs a physical person who's powerful enough to be said vessel. Of course, Ventus is his vessel, but Ventus is weak sauce, so he comes up with a devious plan to strengthen Ventus. Meanwhile, Ventus, Aqua, and Terra have been training their whole lives, and they're finally ready to take a test known as the Mark of Mastery, which will officially make them peers with Xehanort and Ericus. As Aqua and Terra are taking their exam, Xehanort slowly intervenes and forces Terra to harbor some darkness. That's a big issue with all the characters in this world. While we know that they are mostly good, some, such as Terra and Riku, harbor some darkness in them, and they are convinced that they can control it, but generally overtakes them. Aqua passes the exam while Terra fails, creating uncertainty in his heart. Shortly after these events transpire, Xehanort consults with a mysterious figure known as Vanitas. Cryptic stuff aside, suddenly the world is filled with a new enemy type known as the Unversed, with Xehanort suddenly gone missing. See, this is a bit frustrating for me as a gamer, as this is the third type of enemy that essentially is a Heartless, but technically isn't in this game's lore. But I will let it slide, Birth by Sleep, on the account that this story, for as nuts as it may sound, is actually quite interesting. And so our stage is set. Ericus, after consulting the retired Yen Sid, sends Aqua and Terra to stop the Unversed. Aqua is also being asked to look after Terra in secrecy, as Ericus fears for the darkness in Terra's heart. As the two of them take off, Ventus runs into Vanitas, who baits him into going after Terra for fear of his life. And Mickey Mouse is here too, training under Yen Sid to also be a Keyblade Master because, you know, Disney. M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-A-U-S-E, Disney Cash. Disney Cash. You gotta sometimes make that cash. To wrap things up, I want to stress the young ages of Riku, Kairi, and Sora. As for the story develops, Terra meets Riku, Ventus meets Sora, and Aqua meets Kairi. These meetings are very important, as it's in these moments that the Keyblade Inheritance ceremony commences. The heart of the six characters bond with each other, and it gives the connecting arc as to why Riku, Sora, and Kairi have Keyblades. Jesus, there is a lot of information here in Birth by Sleep, and I hope that all of you have somehow made some sense of it. I personally feel, for however confusing this all may be, this game is actually, from a storytelling perspective, told well. It may be the best told Kingdom Hearts that I've played yet. From the get-go, you'll get to choose from one of these three characters, but to get the full experience, you'll need to play in the order of difficulty. Terra is considered easy mode, Ventus is normal, and Aqua is hard mode, which means that overall you're going to have to play this game individually 3 times. Of course, all the stuff you love from Kingdom Hearts is here. Different Disney worlds, Final Fantasy cameos, and Keyblades for everyone. You guys still with me? Good. If not, here's a video of a dog being cute. Good. Birth by Sleep, the PSP version, was actually created on the same engine that Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII was. Granted, you wouldn't know that just by looking at it. Birth by Sleep originally was intended for the PlayStation 2, and was going to star Sora, but the idea ended up being scrapped as Square Enix wanted to focus on bringing many different titles on portable gaming consoles. However, Final Fantasy veteran and Kingdom Hearts helmer Tetsuya Nomura wanted to stress that Birth by Sleep is just as important as Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, often referring to the game as Kingdom Hearts Episode 0. So here's some footage of what Birth by Sleep looks like on the PSP. And here's what Birth by Sleep Final Mix looks like on the PlayStation 3. Being packaged as a part of the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 Remix bundle was a fantastic call, as this game, while it holds up well on the PSP, looks phenomenal on the PlayStation 3. The cutscenes look great, the music is incredible. Overall, I'm real happy with the final product of this game. What I will say is that something that was a bit weird for me was the voice acting. The Kingdom Hearts franchise has been known for its awesome cast of celebrity voice actors, with both its main and supporting cast. James Woods is still killing it all these years later as Hades.
Dark, moody, powerful. Yes, he's perfect.
And we even got Mark Hamill playing Ericus.
But I will not fail again.
I will say, however, two characters that never seemed to resonate with me in terms of their performances are Aqua and Terra. They seemed phoned in, disconnected even.
No, stop! My friend gave me that!
I got the vibe that they didn't care. But hey, maybe that's the way the characters are meant to be played? I don't know. That's really my only gripe. The worlds in Birth by Sleep feel different than any of the previous games. For starters, there's more original worlds from the previous Kingdom Hearts games, and even then, the Disney worlds you do visit are much smaller in terms of scale. Some worlds are literally no more than 4 to 6 rooms wide. But the nice thing about playing as 3 different characters is that their experiences through the plot are different, so you're going to get access to completely different areas with each character. What made me very stoked to play the game was its opening cutscenes. Square Enix always does a fantastic job with its pre-rendered cutscenes. It paints the canvas perfectly. Simple and Clean returns as the theme song for the game, which you guys know me and that song. I could sing it all day long, no shame. And all the music in the game pays perfect homage to all of its sources. Growing up with the Mickey Mouse Club, I was constantly humming the music for Disney Town the entire time. Birth by Sleep pays respects to what the franchise of Kingdom Hearts is, an action RPG with hack and slash-like elements. From the get-go, you're given the choice of choosing your character from the very start of your adventure. Every time you complete a campaign, you'll be allotted to start another. The suggested order is as follows: Terra, Ventus, Aqua. With this being the final mix version, you can bet your bottom that we'll be playing all 3 campaign modes on the critical mode difficulty, which is the hardest mode in the game. Birth by Sleep's most defining characteristics are determined by its 3 protagonists. Ultimately, their playstyles feel the same, but each character has different abilities and traits, with each one being based on a different classical element and are visually and mechanically distinct. Terra is a brawler who focuses on delivering huge damage, but not being as agile as the rest. His abilities usually focus on powerful attack barrages or rock-focused element attacks. Ventus, who looks a lot like Roxas, actually plays a lot like Sora, but with wind as his element and speed as his strong point. And Aqua is about magic casting with an emphasis on water or freeze capabilities, with a secondary focus on shield abilities, which protect her from all different kinds of onslaughts. Undoubtedly, you'll have your favorite, but if you're a completionist, get comfortable because you're going to have to master all 3. The combat, while staying close to its Kingdom Hearts roots, has still changed in many ways. For starters, you have no MP gauge. Yup, that's right, skills and spells do not require any MP whatsoever. This is a welcome addition as you're going to be needing to micromanage your abilities a ton, and this submission takes care of half the battle. Rather than having MP, you'll be focusing on cooldowns and queuing up your next attack while doing your basic combos to pummel your foes. You gain abilities by either progressing further in the story or by leveling them up naturally, but ultimately, by the end of the game, you'll have every skill, or if not, you'll need to get every skill. During combat, you can shift into different command styles that give you great boosts in strength, speed, defense, and more. And the more times you chain certain styles together, the more you build your meter towards unlocking the most powerful styles. These styles will be so crucial to your success in the end game content, as you'll be having some really epic battles. Empowering the player is big with Birth by Sleep, and you'll be having to craft all different kinds of skills and abilities to not only prepare your character for your quest, but to flesh out your character's true potential. Your command deck is the bread and butter of your leveling system. Each spell or skill has a level to it that you'll need to level up, but once it gets to a certain level, you can take said skill and use the material to combine it with another skill that's also leveled up in order to create a brand new skill that's greater than the sums of its 2 parts. That was insane. Let me try to simplify it a little bit. You equip each skill and spell as if it was an accessory or piece of armor, and you'll be equipping a lot of the same ones for multiple casting opportunities or leveling. So for example, if you level up 2 separate cure spells and combine them with each other using a material, you'll now have a level 1 Cura with a permanent augmentation to one of your physical attributes, like your maximum HP going up, or effectiveness of your abilities, or even your Kingdom Hearts Leaf Bracers or Once More abilities, which are incredibly crucial to your survivability. But note that you need to actually level up the new skill to its max level in order to permanently retain the augmentation. From here, we have the shot lock commands. The shot locks are a lot like little limit break meters that allow you to shoot projectiles from across the room after locking on to enemies. After you've locked on to all your targets, you can execute a final attack. Most of these are obtainable via the plot, but some can only be unlocked via side quests. Next up, in regards to combat, is Dimension Links, or D-Links. As you make your way through each world, you will form a relationship with all different walks of life. From the main protagonists' friendships with each other, to Final Fantasy VII Zack, to of course, all of your Disney favorites like Goofy, Donald, and Mickey. Each D-Link provides a different battle boost and an array of original and deadly attacks. The best one for effectiveness has to be, without a doubt, King Mickey, as when you've got him at max level, enemies double the experience earned for the duration of the D-Link. There aren't too many side quests in Birth by Sleep, but the ones that are there amount up to a ton of work. You've got your journal from previous games that will be your completionist checklist, and you'll be consulting this thing a lot as you progress. Just look at all of the side quests and collectibles there are in this game. You've got chests to collect, stickers for your Disney Town album, learning and unlocking every skill in the game. There's 3 different Disney Town minigames, which consist of the Ice Cream Rhythm minigame, the Disney Raceway Challenges, which is the most bare-bones Mario Kart clone I've ever seen, and Fruit Ninja Soccer. Then there's collecting all the different ingredients for the flavors of ice cream. And last but not least, the command board, which is literally Mario Party Kingdom Hearts. Most of these minigames are actually a lot of fun, straightforward, and benefit you in some great ways. But here lies the biggest problem of Birth by Sleep, the padding out of the gameplay. Think about it this way. The world from Sleeping Beauty, as an example per se, has 18 chests. Getting all 18 chests? Pretty easy. However, you're playing the game 3 times, which means you've got to get every chest 3 times. This is probably the most frustrating thing about the game, and what's worse is that there's a world known as the Mirage Battle Arena. This world not only has dozens of challenges that you'll need to complete and level up in via combat, but you'll also have to repeat challenges we've already completed, such as the command boards and the Disney Raceway Challenges, in their entirety. No, these are not brand new minigames. Yes, these are the exact same ones as before. You'll have to do them all over again if you want to unlock everything. There's no ignoring these repeated challenges, since there are all kinds of medals and rankings that can only be unlocked in this specific arena. You're going to be farming a lot of medals because you'll have to own certain items and skills that can only be purchased in the Battle Arena store. This world alone makes the game go from being a 20-hour campaign to at least a 40 to 50-hour campaign. And mind you, you've got to do this 3 times. Oh man, the struggle's going to be very fun for this game. As we wrap things up with the Mirage Arena, it's important to note that this is where the multiplayer on the PSP game would come into play. The Mirage Arena was designed to encompass more players to play the minigames with you. This feature, while gutted from the PlayStation 3 port, still has remnants of the original multiplayer. Skills like Group Cure and Group Trinity attacks, while unlockable through the Mirage Arena store, exist in this game and actually require you to own them, which is weird because you don't need them for any other reason. So there is no gummy ship required in this game, which I kind of appreciate. All 3 characters have the ability to fly through space, as they're given their very own key armor, and they can turn their respective keyblades into personalized space bikes. Moving throughout the game's plots via visiting all the Disney worlds really helps the pacing quite a bit. You have purpose for each visit, as opposed to Sora's traditional, "Oh, what's this world about?" The plot tactfully weaves itself together, giving a lot more drive and character development for our protagonists. The unversed, while not the most unique of enemies, don't mess around. I wish there were more variations, as they feel like different takes on current standing Heartless and Nobodies. I will add that the boss fights in Birth by Sleep are awesome. Whether it's a secret boss fight or a plot-based boss fight, you'll be having a lot of fun figuring out the best tactics required to overcome what stands in your way. With this being on the PlayStation 3, there's going to be a lot of trophies that you're going to have to invest some time into getting. The game, both in and out of menus, is very aware of what your journey entails. You've got checklists, you've got the story, you've got your character's overall progression. There's a lot to complete in this game. I'd even argue that there's more to do in this game than the original 2 games. But that's just me. Throughout the game, our three heroes' paths have intertwined. No matter who you play as, all three characters and their fates are bound to each other, which leads up to a big climactic fight at the Keyblade Graveyard. That's right, the secret movie that plays at the end of Kingdom Hearts 2 is actually the end sequence of Birth by Sleep. Heavy stuff. But before we get to that, we do have some drama leading up to this. Once Ventus returns to the land of departure, Master Ericus decides that Ventus must be destroyed. Terra comes to Ventus's aid, which leads to a standoff between master and pupil. Ericus discovers Xehanort's plot to turn Ventus into the X-Blade and thusly claims that by destroying Ventus, they can save the entire universe. But Terra can't kill his friend and is convinced that Master Ericus is filled with darkness. Terra, using the power of darkness, defeats his former master and makes his way towards the Keyblade Graveyard, with Ventus and Aqua trailing right behind him. Aqua is convinced that Terra is on the path to darkness, and Ventus knows that Terra is in trouble. Xehanort then absorbs the land of departure into darkness, thereby destroying it. At the Keyblade Graveyard, the stage is set. The final battle with Xehanort begins. It's here that we learn of Vanitas' true past. He's actually the darkness in Ventus' heart and was created when Xehanort split Ventus' heart in half, so that Vanitas would be born and would become more powerful enough to turn Ventus into the perfect vessel. Vanitas is also the source of the Unversed, as he controls them and fuels them. And here is where our three heroes' endings begin to split. Terra goes 1v2 with Xehanort and Vanitas. These battles, for being the final battles of the game, are kind of a joke. Even on critical, they're kind of easy. I would describe to you in detail what generally would go on during these fights, but all you really need to know is that you can just lock on and smack the attack button until you win. Once these two are down, Terra takes on Xehanort by himself. Even though you defeat him, Xehanort's plot armor keeps him winning. And this is where everything starts to connect. If you remember, Apprentice Xehanort, Xemnas, and Ansem from Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 look nothing like the Xehanort we've been fighting in this game. The reason being, this event right here. Xehanort has been grooming two vessels this whole time, Ventus for the X-Blade, and Terra for Xehanort's new body. After overcoming Terra's power, Xehanort officially takes over Terra's body. However, it's not over yet. Terra's space armor, which contains Terra's mind and what's left of his heart, ends up reassembling itself and fighting back. And although you defeat Xehanort once again, nothing really happens. Ventus' final battle reveals the most meta of meta fights. Ventus, fusing with Vanitas, sees the two of them fighting inside of Ventus' consciousness. This eternal struggle, as straightforward as the fight may be, results in Ventus needing to destroy himself so that he and Vanitas cannot fuse, thus stopping the creation of the X-Blade. Ventus' heart is lost in the abyss as it searches for a place to go. But because of the passing of the Keyblade ritual, young Sora's heart fuses with Ventus's. This is why so many people believe that Roxas and Ventus look the exact same. And Aqua, poor Aqua. We haven't even touched the surface of her ending, and already she's lost two of her best friends in metaphysical states. While Terra is being possessed by Xehanort and Ventus is battling Vanitas, Aqua first must battle a familiar foe from the soon-to-be-formed Organization 13, Xigbar. Look, I didn't name him, that's just what it says his name is. Shortly after his defeat, Aqua and Mickey Mouse must battle the physical fusion of Vanitas and Ventus. Again, all 3 or 4 of these fights are real easy and straightforward. As all this chaos ensues, Aqua, Mickey, and the now unconscious Ventus retreat back to Yen Sid for further instructions. And here's where the game ends. Or does it? Yo, hold on, stop the music. We gotta keep going with this. I know it's completion bonus time, but not quite. I'm gonna keep going. Give me a sec. After completing all 3 stories, you will unlock the final chapter, which continues the story of Aqua and Ventus. Master Eric was told Aqua something she must do in order to protect the now powerless world of the Land of Departure. She needs to lock the world away from darkness with Master Ericus' Keyblade. This is the first time we see in the series that a world can be locked or unlocked. When Aqua locks the Land of Departure, it suddenly turns into Castle Oblivion, which is the setting for Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories and other games. Aqua leaves Ventus in the throne room, letting him know that she will return one day with Terra when he's awake. Aqua notices that Radiant Garden, or Hollow Bastion, is covered in darkness and requires attention. Upon her arrival, the totally real now final boss fight begins. A now Xehanort-possessed Terra, or as I like to call him, Terranort, battles Aqua, and this guy is actually very tough, but not too tough. After his defeat, Xehanort then unlocks his heart, but Terra is still fighting to take his heart and body back. Defeat this final form of Terranort, and upon its defeat, Terranort becomes unconscious and falls into darkness, but Aqua dives after him. She successfully catches him, but realizes that she does not have enough power to save the both of them. She hands him her own Keyblade and uses her Key Armor to send Terranort back to the light. Aqua then proceeds to fall and drift away into darkness. Okay, you can start the music animation now. Come on, yeah, there you go. All right, we're back on track now. Welcome to the final mix! After you've beaten the final story, this game would usually end right here, but with the remake on the PlayStation 3, we actually have a secret campaign still left to play. We then take control of Aqua once again, who is stuck wandering aimlessly in the darkness, with Master Ericus' Keyblade in hand, trying to find a way out of the realm. This right here is our first encounter with the Heartless, and they're incredibly strong. This mini section of the game, while it is fun to play, isn't very long and is mostly an excuse to keep the story going. Not a bad thing, but a thing nonetheless. Upon beating it, Aqua realizes she may be banished in this dark realm forever. But she soon meets a hooded figure. Based on his voice, and for you fellow Kingdom Hearts fans out there, this is the voice of Ansem the Wise. We've also unlocked a few secret movies exclusive to this version of the game. These movies tell the tale of how Apprentice Terranort rose to power, what happened to Terra, and what becomes of the rest of the Kingdom Hearts characters. The way these movies are illustrated will definitely get your heartstrings going a little bit because of the Kingdom Hearts theme Dearly Beloved. It gets me every single time! Hashtag emo boys.
How could this happen to me?
After you beat the game once, you'll unlock something called the Trinity Archives. This acts as your ultimate completionist checklist outside of the menus in the game. There are trophies in the Trinity Archives menu that will tell you exactly what you need to do to complete the game from that aspect. Things like getting enough money, walking enough steps, killing enough monsters, you know the drill. But aside from all of that, we still have to complete the journal 3 times. That essentially means every move, every item, every monster, all the reports, every minigame, both inside and outside of the Mirage Arena, and fight the secret bosses, essentially fully completing the notebooks for all 3 characters. Oh yeah, secret bosses. There's a few secret bosses, and they are not pretty, my friends. The Mirage Arena is where you're going to be fighting our first secret boss. Remember the whale from Pinocchio, Monstro? Well, he's a secret boss in this game. Honestly, he is the easiest, as you can farm him for medals fairly easily by using the Mind Explosion technique, not the Mind Explosion technique. It's a completely different technique. Next up on our Mirage Arena hit list is the Armor of the Master. This is Master Ericus' armor, and he's pretty dang tough. Defeating him will grant you bragging rights and unlock more fights later on in the arena. Next up is the Lingering Spirit of Vanitas. Now, this is where the difficulty spike just goes through the roof. If you thought playing this game was easy, even on the critical setting, wait until these final 3 boss fights. They will tear you to fucking shreds. Prepare to be angry, prepare to rage, and prepare to spend a lot of time in these fights. And prepare to do all of these 3 times. Once you finally conquered the Lingering Spirit, you will unlock a Keyblade. It's time to go revisit the Land of Departure. Going there will cue a cutscene between your character and, from what the internet tells me, a young time-traveling Xehanort. This boss right here, is one of the most difficult boss fights I've experienced in years. Holy shit, he literally one-shots you. It gets to a point where you can't even lock onto him at all because he goes invisible. He's invisible, he shows up and he kills you. He's a monster and he needs to be put down. I cannot stress the amount of skill and precision it takes to fight this guy. And here's the kicker, this fight is actually much easier as Ventus and Aqua, as they can spam their roll moves to gain invincibility frames for the fight. However, our friend Terra is slow, cannot roll, and can only dodge dash left to right. It's the scariest fight in the game, and it took me 9.5 grueling hours of non-stop battle action. Our final boss and thing to do in this game is the big old boss fight with an enemy known as No Heart. This guy, he may be evil, but damn, he looks cool. Honestly, this fight looks scary, but compared to Trollinort, it's a cakewalk. Remember your favorite moves, remember to breathe, and go with God, or whoever you like to go with. Maybe it's Steve, maybe it's Sally, I don't know, you tell me. Mind you, in order to complete this game in its PS3 glory form, you have to have played it from start to finish on all of the campaigns 100% on critical mode. This, combined with doing everything 3 times over and over and over again, on top of the Trinity archives, makes this one of the most difficult games I've completed in years. And the cherry on the very top, when it's all said and done, what do you get? A PlayStation 3 wallpaper signifying that you completed the game. It's worth it. It's worth it because I got something. I feel better knowing I actually got something for dealing with this incredible bullshit. Between all 3 characters, these are the following stats for my entire playthrough of Birth by Sleep Final Mix. 139 hours of playtime, 46 PlayStation trophies unlocked, 3 full campaigns on critical mode, which is the hardest setting, with 2 additional final ending campaigns, 15 rounds of Ice Cream Revolution, 24 rounds of Mario Kart Disney Edition, 42 rounds of Mario Party Disney Edition, 48 Mirage Arena combat challenges, all of which are anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes long. All of these stats don't even include the amount of times I it all up. 24 ice creams created, 60 Disney stickers collected, 123 first attack impressions with the Unversed, 374 treasures bought with the Keyblade, 623 commands combined, fused, obtained, learned, whatever the hell you want to call it, 15 secret bosses fought and killed with a total combined failure attempts of 1,276. That's an average of 255 deaths per boss. 21,986 Unversed destroyed with my hands. And one drum roll, please. 48,562 goddamn times I heard the Mickey Mouse theme! M-I-C-K-E-Y-M-O-U-S-E, Mickey Mouse! Mickey Mouse!
With all of the bull side that you just saw me go through, Birth by Sleep is an otherwise fantastic game. It's got great gameplay, a beautiful upgrade to all the previous Kingdom Hearts fighting styles and mechanics. It's got a great story that's pretty straightforward in my opinion, but if you're a completionist, prepare to suffer a lot with Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So, with that in mind guys, I give this game my completionist rating of finish it.
Finish it!
So, that's all the time we have for today, guys. So please, as always, let us know what you thought about today's episode somewhere on the internet. Question of the day, if you had a Keyblade, what would you lock or unlock? It's a pretty good question. The fact that I have this thing, I don't know, I really don't know what I'm going to do with this. It's just kind of, I can beat someone up with it. That's like a real thing I can do. Now, if you excuse me, let's go insane with some Ice Cream Revolution. It's a small world after all. 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 It's a small world.